at her place of eternal resting, in where she belongs. Amen. You know, Abotai, every single day, I like to try to direct the Divrei Torah. Maybe I mention it, sometimes I don't mention it, but I always try to direct the Divrei Torah according to the Sefirah of the day. Where in days of Chesed, I'll speak a little bit about acts of Chesed. When days of Gvura, I'll speak more about endurance. When days of Tiferet, we'll talk more about Limud Torah and its value and its reward. Every day we like to try to give a little bit of, whether if I say it or if I don't say it, the fact that we have it in mind already put us in that right direction for the day. So we know, Botai, that first of all, this week is a week that we need a lot of kindness. It's a week that we really need to, Be'erat Hashem, bring kindness to our life and to flip the mazal of the month, the mazal of the week, what happened this week, to complete Chesed. So today is the day of Chesed, it's the beginning of the week. So I would like to really, Rabotai, go back to this concept of Chesed, but go to its core, and also take something that we can apply, each and every one of us, in our day-to-day life, and take action upon it. You know, Rabotai, when we think about kindness, the root of it is actually something that is very simple. And it's something that we take for granted sometimes. The essence of kindness is simple. It is life itself. Where life itself, existence and its, on its own, is the core and the most pure form of kindness that could exist. That the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought us to this world, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu deemed us worthy to be a part of His existence, is something, Abotai, that we need to think every single day. You know, Abotai, we could even see this with the creation of the world. We know that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, it was based off what? Ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'atzil et ha'ne'etzalim. Arizal says HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to be a savior, He wanted to give, He wanted to help. That the entire creation itself was kindness, giving others, bringing life. So now, Abotai, we enter into this week, we need to always put into our mind the fact just of where we stand, the fact that we stand, the life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. We cannot take that for granted. We need to truly hold on to it with all the value in the world. And that's something, Abotai, we really need to hold on to. You know, we speak always, sometimes, about the concept of what is the most important mitzvah and the biggest mitzvah that exists in the world. So this is a question that every single person can give a different answer. You say, what's the biggest mitzvah? One will say tefillin, one will say tzedakah, one will say Shabbat, one will say kibud orim, one will say simcha. It's a mitzvah that essentially all the answers are correct. All those mitzvot could be the biggest mitzvot in the world. So the question is, each one will come up with something beautiful. And the reality, and the fact of the matter is, that all those mitzvot are correct. That every single mitzvah could be the biggest mitzvah that exists in the world. So what really, Rabotai, is the biggest mitzvah that exists? Talmud Torah. Again, Gulam, that's another beautiful answer that you are right too. Chesed, that's also a correct answer that you are right too. But what really is the biggest mitzvah? The timing of the mitzvah. As we know, Rabotai, every single moment of our life, we have times. We have time for shacharit, we have time for tefillin, we have time for Shabbat, we have time for chagim, we have time for tzedakah, we have time for kibud orim. There is a timing for every single mitzvah that exists in the world. When the time of that mitzvah comes, the biggest mitzvah that one can do is what? Is that mitzvah. So when Shabbat comes, tzedakah is no longer a mitzvah. When Shabbat comes, the only mitzvah that matters is Shabbat. When Shabbat comes, tefillin is no longer the biggest mitzvah. Because now Shabbat, there's no need for tefillin. When a person has his parents, the biggest mitzvah is to do what? Kibud orim. When his parents, after 120 years, are no longer here, that mitzvah of kibud orim doesn't exist. The biggest mitzvah is the time of the mitzvah itself. Now, you know, Abotai, there's one thing that Chazal teaches, I think it's so important. It says when a mitzvah comes to your hand, al tachmitzo. Don't allow it to slip out of your hands. Don't allow it to pass by you without you grabbing it. You know, Abotai, maybe we can say that is applicable not just for a specific mitzvah, but for life itself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Abotai, He gave us something so precious. Life itself. that He gave us the opportunity to build, to earn, to achieve, we are not allowed, Rabotai, to take even one moment of that life for granted. And maybe there's a little story that we can bring that Chazal brought, that give us a little bit of understanding. You know, when we bring an analogy that is more tangible by our ears, we get a better understanding of it. So it's like one time there was a country, a Medina. They were a very, very wealthy Medina. They were a country of many, many smart people. And they had no interest of having a king that's going to be crazy, that's going to come to rule, to fight wars upon ego, going to make decisions not for the good of the country, but for the good of himself. So the committee of those who founded that country had a very unique plan, and a very interesting method of making sure that a king will not come and rule and do so unfairly and do so on his own interest. What would they do? They had a cycle of kings. Every 3 years, the committee decided that they're going to change the one who sits on the throne. But the way they would choose the king was very, very unorthodox. What would they do? Every 3 years, they would go to the streets. They would search for a poor man that is sitting in the corner, a homeless person that has no house, no food, no clothing, nothing. They would give him a big barrel of wine. The man would drink. He would get drunk. Once he got completely drunk where he fell asleep, they would take him, bring him to the Armon, to the palace, clean him, dress him, put a crown, and put him in the throne. When he would wake up, Miskin was confused. He says, where am I? So he thinks, I'm in a dream. So for 3 years, he's trying to grasp of understanding on what's happening with him. And then at the 3 years, they go to the streets again. They bring another poor person, and like that. They switch every 3 years. King, and the king never really has the opportunity and the chance to really grab to what he has, because all that time that he's sitting on the throne, he thinks that he's what? He thinks that he's in a dream. Doesn't prepare for after the 3 years. Doesn't know what's going to happen. Doesn't know who put him there. Doesn't know when they're going to take him out. Doesn't know anything. One time, they took a poor person, but this poor person was a very smart man. They brought him to the king, to the palace. They sat him in the throne. He woke up. He sees he's king of this big country. He was very confused, but he knew that there's something behind it he needs to understand. So what did he start doing? He started becoming friends with all the sarim, all the ministers. He said, I'm going to give this one more money. I'm going to give that one this one. I'm going to make sure that every single minister, one of them I'm going to be able to warm his heart, and he's going to tell me what's going on. After 1 year, he found one minister, gave him money, made his friend, made him a big close friend to him. He came to me, he said, please, I want explain to me, how is it possible that I remember only a year ago I was on the streets and now I'm here? So the minister started to cry and to cry and to cry. He said, I have to tell you something, but you have to be careful to not say that I told you. He said, what? He said, the committee that runs the country have this very unique plan. Every 3 years they go to a poor man, they make him drunk, they take him to the palace. For 3 years he thinks he's dreaming. After 3 years, they replace him with a different poor man. And that's what they're going to do to you in 2 years. So this poor man that now is king, he said, now I have 2 more years until they're going to make me drink wine, pull me out to the throne and replace me. But this man was smart. What did he do? He called all his army. He said, I want you to go to that far field out of the city. I want you to build a gate around it. And I want you to start building a castle. And for 2 years, he built this amazing castle. He was transferring every single day boxes of gold and diamonds and wine and money. Like that for 2 years, he was building an entire empire. 2 years passed. He drank a little bit of wine. He wakes up. He finds himself in the street. The moment he found himself in the street, what did he do? Left the city, went into his castle, and sat down on his castle like a king again. Chazal Rabotai, compare this to what? Compare this to our life. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave each and every one of us an opportunity to sit in the throne, to sit in a body for 70 years. Bim Gvurot. If we're lucky, 80 years. At this period of time, Rabotai, we cannot live in a dream where we are walking like skeletons trying to just figure out what's happening in that moment. We need, Rabotai, to take every single moment of life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us and build that castle and put that preparation in place for what happens after those 3 years of term of kingdomship. Abotai, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us a mitzvah, a gift in our hands, grab it, use it to its maximum extent. Take every day, Abotai, and use it to stretch it to its maximum blessing, its maximum happiness, maximum appreciation. If we do so, Abotai, we will Be'ezrat Hashem truly build our castle. Not only that we will be able to enjoy from it here, but we will enjoy from it after we go, after 120 years, to our final resting place. And we'll be able to truly sit like kings with the coming of Be'at HaMashiach. So may HaKadosh Baruch Hu Be'ezrat Hashem give us the continuation this month, and the beginning of the next month. Flip it to a month of kindness, flip it to a month of Nisim, flip it to a month Be'ezrat Hashem of good news to hear. And we all Be'ezrat Hashem gather together B'niyat Bet HaMikdash. B'mira b'yameinu amen.
Amen.